Continues for people who were swept away by the KwaZulu-Natal floods. Some were buried in rubble as homes literally crumbled in the rain. The death toll has been revised down to 435. Lindokuhle Xulu is at the Virginia airport. Lindokuhle, I'm told that government officials have in fact arrived at Virginia airport. What is the program of action going forward?
Well, the search and rescue teams as well as recovery teams, together, of course, with some of the troops from the SANDF that are accompanied as well by South African police services from all over the country, are here, and some of them have left to go and continue with some of those searches. But we are seeing at this very moment that there are some officials that are arriving here. Not sure what is it exactly about, but it's an opportunity as well to speak about other things that are of concern when it comes to the devastation that we saw here in KwaZulu-Natal. I am seeing Mama Didiza, the Minister of Agriculture. Thank you so much, Mama, for joining us. Perhaps just Mama, you're going to join the search and rescue teams. You are at the center of management yet disaster. Just tell us what is going.
No, thank you very much. We are here since yesterday. We've been meeting with farmers' organization and agribusiness industries. Also visiting some of the farms that have been impacted upon by the floods. One of the things that's very clear is the loss of life, which indeed we are all hurt about, and our hearts are with the families and friends who have lost their loved ones. But more importantly, public infrastructure that has been damaged. And within the agricultural sector, the on-farm infrastructure that has been devastated, which makes it even difficult to access some of the farms and some of the livestock that is there in the farms. And some of the mills, sugar milling machines, like in Gledo, which we'll be visiting today in Stenga, has actually been flooded. And according to the management, it might take even 4 months for it to come back to full operation.
What is the extent of the damage? I hear you are mentioning some of those places that are damaged, but a lot of people would be worried if you talk about agriculture, farming, as well as some of the factories when it comes to food security. We know the devastation as well as the lack of access to some areas. But in terms of those damages, just tally up what is the damage and is it solvable? You're speaking about 4 months, and what's the impact thereafter?
Well, let me say that one of the advantages that the country has is the diversity of its agricultural sector. So you don't have major concentration in one of the regions. For instance, when it comes to sugar production, it's KZN and Mpumalanga. But also you do have, other commodities from other areas. So the issue of food security, yes, there will be an impact, but I don't think it would be as adverse as anyone might imagine under these circumstances. What is more important now, which has been done, it's also to create the operation in the ports to allow for export and imports of goods, including agricultural goods. But at the same time, if we are able to unlock the on-farm, access roads, that enables the farmers whose produce is already there to be able to go to the markets. If you look at the impact on the crops in the areas that have been affected, particularly Ilembe, Uku, and eThekwini region, it's where you have got waterlogged. Some of the vegetables, particularly those farmers who are in the valley in Cliffdale, have been washed away. But horticulture in terms of vegetable production is in a number of areas. So I don't really think there will be extensive, impact on food security. There will be a dent, yes, but there is going to be a way in which we can complement that from other parts of the provinces.
This dent you are talking about obviously translates to people that would be in the production sector.
Yes.
Talk to us about any relief. We've heard a number of government institutions saying that this is how they are going to do it. Transport is speaking about fixing roads and all of that. In terms of agriculture, what is the estimated damage amounting to, and what is the relief that is brought about to farmers and those that are in the agriculture sector when it comes to maybe this 1 billion that we've been told is earmarked for this particular province to recover?
Well, let me say the preliminary assessment that has been done so far, which is not conclusive, as I say that there are other areas which are inaccessible. But on those areas that are accessible, one could actually say the damage is close to 500 million. Obviously, we would look both with the industry and government, what is available in terms of what we have in our budgets, that we can be able to make assessment, well, of course, with Treasury's approval, in terms of environments of some of the budgets that may need to be made to those affected. We are also concerned about farm workers and labor tenants, because some of them indeed have lost their houses in those farms. So we are looking at how we assist those. One of the things that we did yesterday following the meeting with farmers' organization and agribusinesses was to set up a steering committee which will include government and the industry to make sure that we can prioritize the urgent needs so that those can unlock agricultural activity while we are looking at the long-term, measures to address those issues. Remember that agriculture is also impacted upon by general public infrastructure. Yesterday we were going to Njongweni. Around Summerfield, the road has just caved in. Farmers, because of the hardships that they're used to, and the communities around, they were able to actually have an alternative route so that they can move some of their stuff to the markets. Njongweni bridge has been washed away, cutting off that community. But the work that is being done to also look at temporary measures to actually allow access, it's what government across the board is also looking at.
Thank you so much, Lindokuhle, the Minister of Agriculture. Almost as if that helicopter that is landing now signals that interview, the end of that interview. But it is a center where there is an operation. Various number of people are here essentially conducting search and rescue as well as recovery, and that scene just tells you about how busy this place is. But we were speaking to Agriculture Minister Lindokuhle. I was speaking about the fact that the damage caused by the floods in the sector goes close to 500 million, but they're saying that what they are doing at this stage is essentially looking at ways in which they can assist those farmers. But one thing that she also says that's important is that at this stage there is no threat to food security in the country, saying that because of the setting of the agriculture sector, that it's not in just one place. They are able to use some of the other producers in terms of ensuring that food security is something that is protected and that is not a threat in this country.
All right, Lindokuhle, we'll leave it there for now. That's reporter Lindokuhle Xulu out at Virginia Airport.